Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I will be playing around with the Aston Martin DB11. This is the V12 version. Aston have just released a V8 version of this car. Now this is supposed to be the little brother of the Aston Martin Vanquish. So it'll be interesting to see how the two compare. Not too long ago I did have a video of the Vanquish, so you know, if you've not seen that, check it out. I'll link it around somewhere here. Now, as you can tell straight away, design wise, it's pretty different. It's quite a futuristic design, and I'm not sure whether I fully like it just yet. I think the rear is the rear doesn't agree with me too much just yet. I think it looks a bit unnatural, but for some of you guys, you know, that whole unique look might appeal to you. I am a proper fanboy of the Vanquish, so I do lean towards its big brother. Apart from my little issue with the back, I think the rest of it looks absolutely stunning. You know, from the front, sides, etc., it looks like a proper Aston. And Aston don't design ugly cars. It's just, in their entire history, I don't think they've ever made an ugly car. They are some of the most elegant looking cars on the road, and the DB11 is absolutely no different whatsoever. The Vanquish does have a 6-litre V12 under the bonnet. The DB11 is also a V12, however it's slightly downsized to, I think it's 5.3 litres, but now they are turbocharged. So weirdly enough, this car is actually more powerful than the Aston Martin Vanquish, and it's got significantly more torque thanks to those turbochargers. Facts figures, 0 to 60, it'll do it in 3.7 seconds. You know, anything below 4 seconds is blisteringly quick. I hope the camera does this car justice. The thing with supercars, through camera, they never look as good as they do up close. You know, with your own pair of eyes. It's just, you know, the different flows and curves that just you kind of have to see them. You've got all kinds of aero vents down here. This bonnet which hides the engine, it's so elegantly shaped, and you've got all these fins and vents down the sides and through the centre. Now, before it starts chucking it down, which I imagine it will do, let's take this out on the roads, take it for a spin, see what it's like. It's meant to be a GT cruiser. Let's see if it lives up to its name. I won't be ragging it. It's, you know, 600 horsepower through the rear wheels on a car I've never driven before in these conditions, so yeah. Completely left the car as it is. We are in what I think is comfort mode. Now straight away for me, obviously I'm not used to supercars or anything like that. There is a fair amount of road noise, which, you know, I'm having to talk a bit louder, but you know, when you've got a V12 up front in a car like this, it's something you really don't mind one bit. However, what I am impressed with is these roads that I'm on right now, they're not the best in the world. They are quite broken up, and you know what, this handles the bumps so well. I'm very surprised at that. I did expect a much firmer ride. If anything, it goes over the bumps better than my CLA 45. I always compare everything to my CLA 45. I know it's because I don't really have much else to compare it to. But yeah, ride quality and everything's really good. This is actually quite a small steering wheel. I'm quite surprised at that. I did expect a much chunkier steering wheel like you do find in the Vanquish. Got a set of speed bumps coming up, so let's see how it handles those. You know what? I know this is a GT car, and you know, comfortable driving is what it's supposed to do. But considering this is still, you know, like a sports / supercar almost, this goes over speed bumps and you barely feel them. Like in my car, I do need to slow right down, you know, to kind of protect my spine. So so far for the GT box, it's ticking those with flying colours. Even in comfort mode, you can hear that engine in the background, and it's that alone, you know, I'm not going to mess around with the the infotainment system, testing out the speakers and whatnot, because why would you, when you've got a V12 up front making those kinds of noises? You really don't need anything else. Right, so this car, so the DB11, the V12, does start from £160,000, but by the time you actually put anything on it, you'll be looking at close to 180, I'd say, at least, all the way up to 200, which, you know, this does make it a pretty expensive car. One thing, my only disappointment with this car actually, and it's because I probably went in with quite high expectations and having jumped from the Vanquish, it's that this interior, you know, especially the materials on the steering wheel, this leather up here, I expected a bit more. It almost seems a bit cheap. Right, cheap's probably not the word, it just, the interior of the Vanquish felt like an interior of a Vanquish. This just seems a little bit, the quality seems to be a bit lacking, if I'm honest. We'll see, you've got some nice touches all around here with this, I don't know, it's like a marble effect, something or another. But I am told, you know, they have lifted a lot of stuff from Mercedes, so the infotainment system, how things work. It is German, so you can expect it to work better, it's more logical, so that is a big step forward. And, you know, in that sense, that's the kind of thing that let Aston Martin down when it came to real world practicality and just usability. It had that British touch rather than the German touch, where everything just seems to work. Now, there is a V8 version of this car that's just been announced, probably arriving towards the end of the year. It increases that partnership with Mercedes, and they've actually lifted the engine from that 4-litre bi-turbo V8 that you'll find in the C63 and across their 63 range. So straight away, what you can expect from that is better reliability, better fuel economy, and it's not slow. Had a bit of wheel spin there, I'm not used to it. Rear wheel drive car, 600 horsepower through the rear wheels. So the V8 will have 500 horsepower, a ridiculous amount of torque, and on paper that will probably be the car to have. However, it's priced just £13,000 lower than the V12, which isn't too much lower. I would have thought there'd be a bigger price gap, and, you know, if you've got the kind of money to be considering a car like this, surely you'd just go for the V12. I don't know, leave it down to you. I know they have done it for the Far East market, where road tax is ridiculous for oh yeah, so this has got start stop. Now, one thing I've realised, it is very, very easy to spin up these rear wheels. That's twice now that it's happened, and I've barely touched the accelerator. So again, that's something to consider, especially with these conditions. It's every time I get an exotic car of some sort, the weather's always absolutely pants. Why that is, it's just bad luck. Right, let's see what this car sounds like. Switch it to sport. Yeah, the wheels are just constantly spinning up. So that was wheel spin in third gear, traction control having to step in. not sure if you can hear it on camera, but it's quite bad. So yeah, I think I'm going to behave. It does sound absolutely glorious though. Now, reviews have said that because of this car's because this car is now turbocharged, it's lost some of its character from the V12, which it had in the Vanquish. I haven't driven either cars long enough to give a reliable comment on that, but you know, the sound is addictive. On upshifts, downshifts, just everything. Now, I imagine you can have quite a lot of sideways fun in this car. Especially in these sorts of conditions, but like I said, I'm not going to do anything too mental. As I said, I've just jumped straight into this car, and you know what, it feels quite easy to drive. The Vanquish is quite big, and you can tell that it's quite big when you're inside, just trying to maneuver it. You know, I've already done a 3-point turn in this, got a reversing camera, full sensors, etc., and overall it's quite easy to just drive on normal roads through town, that kind of thing, which is exactly what you'd expect from a GT. And you know, we're going back over those broken roads, and you know what, it feels very, very soft and supple. Okay, probably not soft and supple, but for a car of this size, really, really good. In terms of the question between V12 or V8, personally, you know, if money was of no object, I'd try and go for the V12, because the difference in price isn't massive, and you know, you will never ever be able to beat the sound of a proper V12 engine, whether it's in comfort, sport, etc. Obviously, I've not had the greatest of days today, unfortunately, but you know, I'm intoxicated by it. Anyway guys, I hope this video has been somewhat entertaining. It certainly has for me. It crosses off, you know, anytime you can sit behind the wheel of any kind of Aston Martin, it's always a special feeling. This is no different, and the fact that I'm in a proper V12 Aston just makes it all the more special. As always guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for future videos, and I shall see you in the next video.